The CIAA was founded in 1912. The CIAA was founded in 1912. The CIAA was founded in 1912 and has been a continuous The CIAA was founded in 1912 and has been a continuous champion for academic and athletic excellence for over a century. A crown jewel rooted in tradition, leadership, and community, the CIAA continues to educate and empower the future leaders of tomorrow through our commitment to academics, our support of the community, our enhancement of the student-athlete experience, and the engagement of our alumni and fans. A legacy that began over 100 years ago continues to impact the generations of today. We're all CIAA for life.
Good morning, CIAA fans. Welcome to the 2016 CIAA Bowling Championship. We're here in the AMF Western Branch Bowling Lanes in Chesapeake, Virginia. My name is Lamont Henson. I'm being joined by Bree Funty, the Assistant Media Relations Director for the CIAA. Bree, welcome.
Thank you. Good morning, Lamont.
And we're going to get you caught up on the action today. We're already in the third round. We've had some teams that face eliminations, and we have some teams that have fallen into the losers bracket. And just to get you caught up, we're going to see the Northern Division champion and defending CIAA champion Bowie State Lady Bulldogs take on Virginia State University in the winners bracket. They're the two top teams still left. They entered today's matchup ranked number 1 and 2 according to total pin count. And in the losers bracket, we're going to see Shawan take on Elizabeth City State. And over in lanes 9 and 10, and over in lanes 3 and 4, you're going to see the Lady Falcons of St. Augustine's University taking on the Lady Broncos of Fayetteville State. Earlier in today's action, Johnson C. Smith took on Shawan, and they faced elimination by the Hawks by a score of 4-0. Also, St. Augustine's eliminated the Lady Bears of Shaw University 4-1. Earlier this morning, Bowie State took on Elizabeth City State, two division rivals, and they were able to pull out a 4-1 victory. And then you saw the Southern Division champion, 33-0 against all Southern Division opponents, FSU Fayetteville State. They took on the Lady Trojans of Virginia State, and they fell 4-1. Action has been jam-packed. Bree, get us a little caught up on what you think is going to take place today.
Gosh, first of all, I'm excited about seeing Bowie State and Virginia State number 1 and 2 at this point.
Absolutely.
Keeping in mind that it is a double elimination bracket, so pending the results from yesterday and what happens today, they could still continue even if you're taking on that first loss. Couple teams going home today. Johnson C. Smith, they had a hard time yesterday, so leaving today was difficult for that team, I'm sure. They had a good run, just couldn't pull it out, and
Absolutely. That's how tournament play goes. It's the joy of victory, the agony of defeat. We're getting down to the nitty-gritty. Some teams are going to have to be whittled out, and then that's what we're looking at. So now we're looking at 6 teams still remaining. The winner of Bowie State and Virginia State will be sitting comfortably waiting to see how things play out over in the losers bracket. It is double elimination, so all the teams right now that are in the losers bracket have already suffered 1 loss, and the next loss means they will also go home. They will be joining the Golden Bulls and the Lady Bears. Right now we're seeing Bowie State and Virginia State over in lanes 13 and 14. A little bit further down, I believe it is Elizabeth City State and Shawan, and further down the lane there's going to be St. Augustine and Fayetteville State. So the match that we're going to be zooming in on is going to be directly right in front of us. We're going to see the top tier teams, the defending CIAA champion as well as the Northern Division champions this year, Bowie State, and they're going to be taking on the Lady Trojans. Bowie State is led by head coach Ken Scott, and over VSU, and you're looking at the roster for the Lady Bulldogs. You have Keandra Bankston, the CIAA Rookie of the Year, Diamond Carter, Sierra Davis, she was an all-CIAA selection, Ashley Wade, another strong bowler for the Lady Bulldogs, and Shannon Wade. They're 2 sisters, and they definitely have been trained right. And they come in, Ken Scott, he's got some firepower over there on that bench. And in just a second, I'm sure we'll give you an opportunity to take a look at the roster for VSU. Right on cue. Great job by our executive producer, Adrian Ferguson. So you got Charity Beckham for VSU, Felicia Canteen, also for the Lady Trojans, CIAA Bowler of the Year, top bowler overall with I believe she averaged about 186 for the year, Rebecca Clements, Gabrielle Jarrell for VSU, and Danielle Petty. That's going to be the top 5 for Virginia State. And you have Ronald Sims, who's going to be leading the Virginia State Lady Trojans. So this is going to be an interesting matchup right now. All teams are in the practice round, so they're getting warmed up. And we're going to get you caught up on what happened yesterday just in terms of ranking, so you'll know who came in ranked what. And as mentioned earlier, Bowie State was ranked number 1, followed by Virginia State. In the 3rd spot, it was Fayetteville State. Coming in at number 4, Elizabeth City State. Number 5, the Hawks of Shawan. And number 6, the Lady Bears of Shaw University, who have unfortunately already faced elimination. In the 7th spot, the Lady Falcons of St. Augustine's University. And at number 8, it was the Golden Bulls of Johnson C. Smith University, who have also faced elimination. You're looking at the total lanes right now here at the AMF Western Branch Bowling Lanes here in Chesapeake, Virginia. They've been our hosts all weekend, and they have done a fantastic job of welcoming us here. This is a fantastic entertainment facility, not just equipped with bowling lanes, but they also have laser tag and arcades and all type of entertainment. So if you're in the area, definitely stop by. And we also want to thank some of our corporate sponsors. Number 1, well, not that we're really ranking them, but someone who's definitely helped this event be what it is, and that is Food Lion. They've sponsored the student-athlete hospitality area, and we definitely appreciate that. They've been partners with the CIAA for over 2 decades, 22 years and counting. Greatly appreciate that. Hope that partnership continues. And we're starting to see the teams get excited. And they're going through their pregame warm-up. Are you starting to feel the energy, Bree?
I'm starting to feel the energy. I'm telling you, Bowie State, they'll carry full energy through the whole thing.
I hope.
And that's what you're going to hear.
There you go. And we have parents, some friends, spectators in the crowd, the CIAA Bowler of the Year, and also an alum of Bowie State. Shayla Lightfoot is in attendance. She is here to cheer on the BSU Lady Bulldogs. She's loud and proud. So this should be exciting, and I believe we're underway. Rebecca Clemens gets things started. Knocks down 8 pins. And coming up next for Bowie State.
And that's a strike.
And that's
starting off strong.
That's why they're defending champions as well as the Northern Division champions this year. They get things started off extremely fast.
Clements will step up here for going for the spare with either 2 or 3 pins left standing.
I believe it's 2 pins. She's looking at the 5 and the 9 pin in order to pick up the spare. So let's see if she can do that. She's stepping to the line, very focused. There's the release. Looks good.
Takes a spare with ease.
Give it a spare. So Bowie State gets the strike on their first roll. Meanwhile, Virginia State not too far behind picking up the spare. And coming up is Sierra Davis for BSU over in lane 14. Takes her time. There's the release.
Very graceful.
Down 8. Takes down 8 pins, and it looks like she's going to be facing the 4 and the 8 pin in order to get the spare. Over in lane 13.
Good pitch, hurry, girl!
That was Felicia Cantain for VSU, knocking down 9 pins. Here comes Sierra Davis with her second roll. It's looking good. Shifts to the left, right where it needs to be. She takes them both down. Give her the spare. So Bowie State has started off strong. First frame, they got a strike. Second frame, it is a 8 spare. Up next for the Lady Bulldogs, Ashley Wade. Wade, a left-hander. Give her the strike.
For the strike.
And you can feel the energy. And you can also hear the chants. Energy is contagious.
She is apparently a hefty lefty is what they say.
Exactly. So they don't believe that they're wasting their energy by cheering. I've heard that philosophy in some other camps. And they seem very excited, and we're waiting for the pins to reset over in lane 13.
Bowie State stepping up.
Keandra Bankston just rolled for BSU, and they're not slowing down. They have 3 strikes in a row. 4 out of their 5 frames have been strikes. Any dogs in the house? Apparently so.
They have quite the cheering crowd back here as well.
Here comes Canteen for her second roll. Let's see if she can get the spare. Bowie State has gotten off to a very strong start. And they may have just put the pressure on Canteen, her having to sit back and watch them continue the roll and pick up strike after strike. She may have overthought that when she misses out, only gets 9 pins instead of the spare. Meanwhile, in the other lane for Bowie State, Diamond Carter.
Cross and carry.
Charity Bickham for Virginia State leaves the 2 standing. She'll come up for her second. And for Bowie, a spare. That was
Shannon Weaver gets the spare. Had 8 on her first roll, comes back to collect the next 2. Beckham give her the spare for VSU. They're going to have to settle down. They have yet to pick up a strike. Meanwhile, Bowie State has 4 already, and they're in the 6th frame. 4 strikes, 2 spares. They're looking very impressive, and this is Sierra Davis. Locked and loaded, stepping up to the line. There's the release. Looking good, stands straight ahead. And she knocks down 9 of the 10. The only pin left standing is the 6th pin. Up next for VSU, Ariel Haith. Haith knocks down 7, and she's going to be looking at the 7, 4, and 2 pin in order to get the spare. 3 pins still remaining, all on the left side. Davis coming back for her second roll. All she needs to do is knock down the 6 pin in order to get the spare. And she collects.
3rd spare.
And shows her emotion. She's very excited. And I believe that energy is contagious and it translates over. We're in Baker's style format for this match. Haith coming back to see if she can get the spare.
A little spin there.
Takes out the number 2 and 4 pin, leaves the 7 pin standing. She's only going to get 9 out of the 10. Give her a 9 on that frame. Ashley Wade, the lefty, coming back. And
That is her
collects.
2nd strike.
Strong bowler, Miss Ashley Wade, a junior nearby from Richmond, Virginia. And that was Danielle Petty for VSU. She knocks down 6 pins.
Danielle has been one of the top bowlers during this event, I believe in the top 3.
Very strong. Coach Sims has her as the last in his rotation of 5, so she's the anchor for the team. Ooh.
Looks like that slipped a little bit further to the left than she intended.
And that is Miss Diamond Carter, the CIAA Rookie of the Year. This young lady is a freshman all the way from Buffalo, New York, a communications major. And here comes Petty.
And she takes the 1 and 3.
That was an impressive spare to pick up, knocking down the 3, 6, and 10 pin and also getting the 7th in the left corner. Diamond Carter coming back. She needs 3 pins to get the spare, and she gets 2. That stubborn 9th pin did not fall. Perhaps that's the 10th pin over in the right corner. And that is the first frame that they did not get a strike or a spare. Right now they have a 185-54 advantage. However, Virginia State is only in the 6th frame. Rebecca Clemens, CIAA Bowler of the Year, comes in, knocks down 7 pins. Here comes Kendra Bankston for BSU. Stays steady straight down the middle. However, she's going to have to take out the number 5 and 10 pin in order to get the spare. Takes out 8. Clemens goes back to the rack looking for a ball.
Trying something different this time.
Let's see her approach. She's not the Bowler of the Year for no reason. She's probably faced just about all scenarios this season and has been able to find some success. You're seeing the aerial shot as she stares down the lane. And here she comes stepping up to the line. Good release. And she has a straight shot, taking out the number 5 and 9 pin. However, the 10 pin remains. Bankston coming back for the Lady Bulldogs.
Can she get the 5-10 split?
Ooh. And there you go. She only had 8 pins in that frame. They're going to conclude that first game with 193. And now they have to sit back and watch and see what Virginia State does. That was Felicia Canteen for the Lady Trojans. She takes out 7 pins. Remaining is the 3, 6, and 10 pin.
Bowie dominating right now, 193-80.
I kind of like their approach of go out strong, get the momentum going, keep rolling. So now Virginia State has to look up and look at that 193 score and try to play catch up. And as we spoke about earlier, or perhaps yesterday, we talked that this game is just as much mental as it is physical. Good job on the part of Canteen to get that spare, taking out the 3, 6, and 10 pin. They're in the 8th frame. And this will be Charity Beckham coming up for the Lady Trojans. Meanwhile, Bowie State is sitting back and just waiting to see what the result will be before they go on to the second game in this best 4 out of 7 Baker-style format. And give Beckham a Struzite. And that was so desperately needed. I believe this game is out of reach. Bowie State is going to take this first game regardless of what Virginia State does. However, you definitely want to finish strong and hope momentum carries over into the second game. Right now it's 193, which will be the score for Bowie State. That won't change. And Virginia State has 110 with Ariel Haith rolling. Haith knocks down 8 on her first roll. She's staring at the 2 and 4 pin. 2 pins remaining to get the spare. Coach Sims on his feet, trying to provide some guidance to his bowlers. Meanwhile, Coach Scott comfortably in his seat, just awaiting to see how this game is going to end, how many pins they'll actually total up with. Haith comes back and gets the spare. Somebody helped her. She was on the side of the road with a flat. And they came through.
She got the spare.
She got the spare. Danielle Petty will be the next rolling bowler for Virginia State. She takes her time. They're in the 10th frame, so this will be the last one of this game. Petty gets 8 out of 10. 5 and 9 pins still remain. And let's see if she can collect the spare. I believe if she does, she'll get one more roll.
Getting some advice from Coach Sims quick before she walks up.
Taking her time. staring down the lane. There's the release. And she does collect the spare, so she will get one more roll before we conclude this frame. That gives them 148 as a total. Perhaps this can play into their favor. They can take their time and allow the momentum or rhythm of the Lady Bulldogs to kind of settle down, cool off a little bit, make them sit back and get a little antsy. Could be some strategic movement in this. Petty again with the roll. Looks good, heading straight down the center, and she gets 9 out of 10. Good job. That will give Virginia State 157. Bowie State takes that first game 193-157 over Virginia State. And I'm going to tell you, Bree, if Bowie State's coming out rolling 193, they're going to be awfully tough to beat in any game.
And if Virginia State, they're coming in at number 2, they've been playing well all weekend. I don't know who can if Virginia State can't. They could go all the way.
Bowling is definitely a game of ups and downs. So one minute you're rolling and the next minute you're knocked down like the Pins. I mean, it's a metaphor for life as well as this game. We're already getting the second game started. CIAA Bowler of the Year, Rebecca Clemens, starts things off for VSU, knocking down 6 pins. She's got 4 remaining. The 2, 4, 7, and 8 pins still stand. Meanwhile, Shannon Weaver knocks down 8 pins of her own for BSU.
We've seen the teams switch sides. Bowie State now on lane 13 with Virginia State on lane 14.
Both bowlers have an opportunity to get the spare. Clemens will roll next. She needs to knock down these 4 in order to get the spare. She knocked down 6 on her first roll. Steps to the line. There's the release. Had a curve on the end of that. Knocks out 3 of the 4 pins remaining. That number 4 pin did not fall, so give her 9 in that first frame. And here comes Shannon Weaver. Let's see if she has a little bit more success. No.
She also leaves 1 pin standing, taking 9 for the Lady Bulldogs.
Both teams with 9. This is Felicia Canteen for VSU.
Oh,
wow.
wow.
Goodness. Canteen gives us a little flair for the dramatics.
A little wobble there, knocking over the 2 final pins.
That is one of the most joyous strikes you're going to get. It's almost like if you just jump up and down the vibration of the floor, you're hoping that it'll knock down the pin, but that was almost like calling glass in a basketball game.
Some excitement from Coach Sims, but still very focused.
Meanwhile, Sierra Davis for BSU steps up, knocks down 9 pins on her first roll. She's going to be staring at the number 9 pin in order to get the spare. 1 pin still standing. Next bowler for VSU, I believe it's going to be Charity Beckham. Canteen puts a little pressure on the Lady Bulldogs by getting a strike in that second frame. Davis steps to the line, lets it go, and connects. That's the pin she needed to get. She's over in lane 13. Meanwhile, in lane 14, you're watching Beckham step up to the line, and she lets it go. It shifts a little bit to the left. She takes out 7 out of 10 pins. She's still facing the 3, 6, and 10 pin. That was Ashley Wade, the left-handed bowler for Bowie State. She gets 7 out of 10 pins, facing a 7-10 split. Be more specific, it's going to be the 8, 6, and 10 pins that are still standing. Beckham comes back for her second roll. It stays left, only taking out 1 pin, so give her 8 for that frame. They're in the 3rd frame of this second game. Virginia State fell to Bowie State in the first one. Ashley Wade, the left-handed bowler, comes back, knocks down the 10 pin, leaves the other 2 still standing, so give her 8 for the third frame. And here's an opportunity for Virginia State to play catch-up. And though pin falls do count, we're going off of games here. And right now, it is Bowie State up 1-0. Ariel Haith steps to the line for VSU. Straight down the middle. Give her a strike. And she gives a little sigh of relief. That could be the boost that the Lady Trojans needed. Diamond Carter, CIAA Rookie of the Year on the other lane. She takes out 9 out of 10. Number 8 pin still stands. This is Danielle Petty up to roll for the Lady Trojans. Danielle has a very relaxed approach. Smooth release, straight down the middle. And she has great placement of the ball. However, I believe with a little bit more speed and power, she would have got better results. Meanwhile, Diamond Carter comes back for the spare, and it shifts too far left. Give her 9 in the 4th frame. Meanwhile, VSU is rolling. They're all the way in the 5th frame. Danielle Petty needing to knock down these 2 pins in the corner, the number 9 and 10 pins, in order to get the spare. She had 8 on her first roll. Again, Petty, very focused. You see the release, and she hits it to the right corner. So far right that she only takes down the number 10 pin, does not get both, and gets 9 for the 5th frame. Meanwhile, Bankston, Keandra Bankston, she takes out 9 in her first roll. She's going to need to get 1 more in order to get the spare. The number 9 pin itself still stands. And now it is Virginia State trying to speed up the tempo. They're not waiting to go frame for frame. They're in the 6th frame, just a little bit ahead. And Rebecca Clemens, Bowler of the Year, lets it go straight down the middle. Good speed, good target. Only takes out 8 pins. 2 more still stand, the 10 and 5 pins. Or perhaps that is the 10 and 6 pin still standing. Bankston comes back, gets the spare. Bowie State still looking strong, not quite as strong as they were in that first game, but they've been impressive. So far, they've collected 2 spares. However, on the other lane, it is VSU that has 2 strikes.
The winner of this round between Virginia State and Bowie State will sit tight for a couple rounds, awaiting their competitor.
Clemens was attempting to get both pins, could not. The 10 pin still stands, but she takes out the number 5, give her 9 for that 6th frame. That was Shannon Weaver, who just rolled for Bowie State. She knocks down 6. 4 pins still standing, all of them primarily in the center of the lane. And Canteen comes up. She takes out 7. And she has her 3 pins still standing in the left center. I believe that is the 8, 4, and 5 pin that still remain for Virginia State. Shannon Weaver finds the ball on the rack, gets the placement. She gears up, stares down the lane. Here she comes, taking steps towards the line. There's the release. And she gets 3 out of 4, which isn't bad, but in competition like this, every pin counts. You want to build as much of a lead as you can. This game is a lot more closely contested than the second one. Oh, excuse me, than the first. Canteen only gets 9 pins on that 7th frame. Sierra Davis, a redshirt sophomore out of Dayton, Ohio, business and administration major. She brings a lot of energy. Let's see how she does on this roll. Lets it go, stays focused. Didn't look like she was pleased with that release. She knew it right away. Here comes Charity Beckham for Virginia State. And she takes out all of them. That is the second wibble wobble last minute. Don't take your eyes off this lane strike that Virginia State has had. So that's their third strike in this game, Bree, and it looks like they've come out a little bit more charged up, so to speak. Meanwhile, Bowie State, who was on absolute fire in that first game.
Excited about that spare.
It looks like they've cooled off just a little bit, and as I say that, you're correct. Sierra Davis picks up the spare. Up next to roll for the Lady Trojans will be Ariel Haith. Ariel is a freshman from Illinois. As a freshman, I guess she's still deciding on what her focus will be academically, has not declared a major, or at least we haven't been shared that information. Here comes Haith, taking her time. Right-handed release. A lot of power. Takes out 9 out of 10. The only pin remaining is that 10 pin in the corner. Meanwhile, on the other lane, lane 13, you're looking at left-handed Ashley Wade. And that's her side. She knocks out all 3 pins on the left side. The 7, 4, and 2 pins gives her the spare. That is the 4th spare for Bowie State here in this second game, who already is up 1-0 over VSU. However, they trail right now in this second game. Let's see what Ariel Haith can do to expand that lead for the Lady Trojans. Give it to her. Yes, folks, she knocks down the 10 pin, gives her the spare, and they are holding on to a slim 111-95 lead here in this second game. And CIAA Rookie of the Year Diamond Carter steps to the line. Ooh. She's got a 8-pin split, knocks down 8, leaves the number 7 and the number 9 pin still standing. Danielle Petty rolls, has a curve that kind of heads towards the center at the very end. 2 pins still stand, but you like her 2-pin scenario over that of her opponent in Miss Diamond Carter. 16-pin difference, 127-111 in favor of the Lady Trojans. They're in the 10th frame. Meanwhile, Bowie State is just catching up in the rear. They're in the 9th frame. And Carter, she takes out the 7-pin. She's going to get 9 on that roll. Right now, Danielle Petty is going to attempt to get the spare. Let's see what she can do. Looks good. Give it to her. Collects the spare. That's going to definitely help in their total. Keandra Bankston comes through and gets, a strike would have really helped out for them to get this second game. They're still not out of the water. 129, 121. However, Petty has 1 more roll, so she can add on some more points to this second game total. Stares down the lane. She's in lane number 14. Steps to the line. Stutter steps before she releases. Tries to get it to shift right. Not bad, knocking down 9 pins. And every little bit counts. Bankston coming back. Can she get the spare? Yes, sir. So you're looking at Virginia State, who has 138. That's going to be their total. They had 157 in the first game. They come back with 138 in the second, but that may be enough for them to get this victory in game number 2. However, Bankston has one more roll. She did get the spare. Right now, they have 122. Let's see how she does. Lane number 13 looks good. Heading down the center. Give her a strike.
Right.
How clutch is that? But is it enough? It is not. Credit VSU. We're going to be tied up at 1 game apiece. They pull out a 6-pin victory, 138 to 132. Coach Sims has got to be pleased. You don't want to fall behind 2 games to none. And Bree, I can't tell you that I'm surprised to see these 2 Titans out of the Northern Division going back and forth.
I have a feeling this is going to be more than 4 games to determine the winner out of here.
I got a feeling ooh, that this morning is going to be a good one.
This morning is a good one.
Absolutely. Rebecca Clemens getting us started with this 3rd game. They're wasting no time. And she starts us out with 8, leaving the 4 and 8 pin still remaining. Meanwhile, Shannon Weaver will start things off for BSU. And she is not happy with that first roll, takes down 7. And now Coach Ken Scott has gotten up out of his chair, whispers a little something in the ear of Weaver before she gets ready for her second roll. Clemens already with ball in hand is stepping up to see if she can pick up the spare. Takes her time, stares down the lane. She's staring at the 4 and 8 pins. Lets it go, spins inside to the right. Gets it to go, give her a spare. Call AAA. Meanwhile, Shannon Weaver steps up for her second roll. It goes to the left. Does she get him off? She indeed does.
The whole team excited about that spare by Shannon Weaver.
This is the type of energy that you like to be around.
A whole different energy coming from Bowie State from the previous game.
For those of you who are watching at home or wherever you may be checking out the live stream, there are other matches going on. However, the only ones that you can hear is this one between Bowie State and Virginia State. They know that all the marbles are on the line. And it sounds like it. They're playing like it. Sierra Davis will roll next for the Lady Bulldogs. And it's looking good heading down lane 14. And Bowie State has not had some of the same luck and good fortune that you've seen Virginia State benefit from with those last-second pins falling to get the strike. Felicia Canteen will roll next for the Lady Trojans. She's over in lane number 13. On her first roll, she knocked down 9, leaving only the 7th pin, which is in the far left corner. You would believe that's an easy pickup, but sometimes you can overthink things. I believe she had a similar situation in game number 2, or perhaps it was game number 1, but she had to wait for the lane to reset and for her to get her ball, and I think she's looking at a similar situation. She's waiting for the ball to come back on the rack. Meanwhile, Sierra Davis gets things going, knocks down the 10th pin. You're right. She hit the easy button on that one and gets the spare. Turned her back on it like she was Steph Curry with the shot. Not Steph Curry from last night because San Antonio put the lock on him. Ooh, and is exactly what I was talking about.
Petty is not able to do the same.
Canteen misses the 7th pin. It looked like it was something easy. You know, sometimes when I'm watching basketball games and you hear announcers talk about how good free throw shooters are, and as soon as they start to mention something about their free throw shooting and how good they do, they miss the free throw. Meanwhile, we just missed a strike.
We just did that.
By Ashley Wade. The left-hander comes through and gets a strong strike, and Charity Beckham for VSU knocks down 6 out of 10 pins in lane number 13. Bowie State off to another strong start. They've got 2 spares and a strike to start off this 3rd game. Virginia State not too far behind. A spare in the first, frame, 9 pins in the second frame, and it is Diamond Carter wanting to take her time before she starts things rolling in the 4th frame. Perhaps Ken Scott has told his team, let's slow things down and kind of keep the pace, stay up. Let's see what they do. Beckham takes them out, give her the spare. She had 4 pins remaining. She gets all 4 of them. Now, CIAA Rookie of the Year, Diamond Carter, stepping up to the line. Good release by Carter, right-handed, goes towards the center, looks good, only gets 9. 9 pins in the 4th frame, coming off of a strike in the 3rd by Ashley Wade, and now we have Ariel Haith up to roll for VSU. Ooh. Haith knocks down 7 pins. She's going to have a 7-10-5 split. Or that could be 7-6-10. Carter only staring at the 9th pin, stares it down. Couldn't knock it down, however. It goes too far right. 9 pins there in that 4th frame. Haith has her work cut out for her. Let's see if she's just going to focus on knocking down that 6th and 10th pin and not worry too much about the 7th, or if she has something up her sleeve where she can get all 3. And she only takes down the 10th pin, leaving 2 standing. Give her 8 for that frame. Keandra Bankston gets the strike. Very impressive strike by Bankston, and one much needed, and I'm sure appreciated by her teammates and Coach Ken Scott. Danielle Petty up to roll for Virginia State. Virginia State, a longtime member institution of the CIAA, recently just put together a state-of-the-art multi-purpose athletic facility in Ettrick, Virginia, not too far from us here in Chesapeake. And I look forward to getting an opportunity to check out that facility. Have you had a chance to see it, Bree?
I have not. I was recently in Richmond, but was not able to stop by their facility, but I heard it is great.
They had a promotional video out to promote that facility. Very well done. A associate, close classmate of mine, Victor Landry, will be the facility manager for that state-of-the-art facility over at Virginia State's campus. So look forward to seeing how they utilize it. Meanwhile, the action here in the AMF Western Branch lanes has reached a boiling point. Teams aren't cheering as much because it's so tense. Ooh, Danielle Petty just does get that 7th pin to fall. Give her a spare. She had 9 on that first roll. Bowie State with a nice lead. They have 2 strikes, 2 spares here in this 3rd game. Oh, and as I say that, Shannon Weaver only gets 7 pins in the 6th frame. So that's going to give Virginia State an opportunity to kind of close this deficit. And who better to help close the deficit than CIAA Bowler of the Year, Rebecca Clemens. Let's see if she can get a strike.
Now, hurry, ball!
I feel like I called that, and that was very clutch. That's why she is Bowler of the Year. You need her to do something, she steps up and does it. Sierra Davis up to roll next for BSU. Takes her time. Methodical approach to the lane. Stays center, knocks down 9. Only the 6th pin remaining for Bowie State. Davis seems confident that she can knock that down. Felicia Canteen for Virginia State gets a strike. That's going to be back-to-back strikes for Virginia State, one by Clemens and now one by Canteen. And I believe they have the lead. That's how you get it done if you're Virginia State. Very clutch. Coach Sims has been on his feet the whole time, just providing little tidbits for his team, and it seems like they're gaining confidence by his quiet leadership. Sierra Davis coming back. Can she get the spare? Yes, sir. And this is what championship action is all about. Charity Beckham stays too far left on that roll. However, she does knock down 8 pins, so a spare is very doable here. Left-handed Ashley Wade coming back up for Bowie State. There's the release, curves inside, straight down the center, give her the strike. And the hefty lefty gets a strike on the heels of a spare in the 7th frame. That's going to help them with their total. Beckham had 8 pins in the 8th frame. Let's see if she can get the spare. Virginia State had back-to-back strikes. And Beckham doesn't disappoint. She does get the spare, so you're looking at spare, strike, strike, spare for Virginia State. Meanwhile, Bowie State, starting with the 5th frame, had strike, 7 pins, spare, strike, and now CIAA Rookie of the Year Diamond Carter comes to the line. And we're looking at some fantastic performances by both teams. Diamond Carter shows why she was one of the top bowlers in the league, coming in as a true freshman out of Buffalo, New York, and she gets the strike. Back-to-back strikes for Bowie State. Ariel Haith comes up next. 8 will be the count in that 9th frame for Haith. Bankston comes up on the heel of Haith's roll, and she gets 9 pins. So we had strike, strike, and now a 9. 1 pin remaining straight down the center. That's going to be the number 5 pin for her to get the spare, which again seems very doable, but you just never know.
A little bit of a split here for Haith as she steps up to the line.
Haith in the 9th frame. Meanwhile, Bowie State is already in the 10th frame because they had back-to-back strikes in the 8th and 9th. Oh!
She does it.
That was
Some
a
excitement
nice
coming
shot.
from Virginia State.
Very impressive by Haith. Here comes Bankston.
For the spare.
Count it. So she's going to get 1 more roll. Meanwhile, Danielle Petty, who has been on target with her roll, but she has not had a lot of speed on the ball, which has usually led to her only knocking down about 8 to 9 pins. I don't believe she has a strike so far this morning. Takes her time. There's the release. Again, a nice, smooth, slow roll, and she knocks down 9. What? It's wobbling. Nope. Machine says not this time. Here comes Bankston. This is her bonus roll in the 10th frame, and she's going to get 6. Which I think may be enough for them to pull out this 3rd game. However, Danielle Petty does have an additional roll. If she can get the spare, then she will get a bonus and a strike.
176 to 167 as we wait for Virginia State to wrap up their portion of this game.
Only a 9-pin difference.
And she'll take it.
Spare's going to go. So that's going to give them 168. So now it's an 8-pin difference. And if you
This can be done with Danielle Petty.
absolutely simple math, 10-pin stand. They're down by 8. Let's see what she can do. Again, she is right on target with the release and the roll. However, she does not have a lot of speed on her ball, so a strike may be unlikely. However, 9 pins will get it done. A lot of pressure. Sure, it's pressure she can handle. She's a senior out of Suitland, Maryland.
Looking focused.
Straight down the middle, and she gets 8.
Gets 8 pins.
Is that a tie?
That, I believe, is a tie.
I wonder how that works.
We're going to go ahead and switch sides here.
So that match is going to be a wash. We're going to have to go to the rule books on this one, but I believe that match may be a wash. And how fitting for two teams tops in their division.
Starting off with Rebecca Clements with a strike for Virginia State.
Shannon Weaver, first roll for Bowie State. Knocks down 9 pins, couldn't stay up with the strike that was delivered by Clemens. Clemens gets things off to a strong start here in the 4th game. Bowie State was victorious, came out smoking, rolling 193 in that first game to take down Virginia State. However, VSU came back and took the second game. Third game, we had a 176 tie, which means it's going to be a wash. So we're going to keep going.
Felicia Canteen stepped up for Virginia State. Was not able to hit any pins that time.
Coach Sims seems to be upset about the photographer on hand trying to capture some still images to commemorate this moment. He believes it's a distraction.
And she gets the spare with that second try.
What a awesome comeback. Despite having a ball go into the gutter on her first roll, she comes back and delivers the spare, knocking down all 10 on the second roll. So far, Virginia State has gotten off in 2 frames, a strike and a spare. Meanwhile, Bowie State has 1 spare. They're in the second frame. Sierra Davis keeps things neck and neck, comes back with a strike of her own. So these two teams are still tied up. Charity Beckham up to bowl next for the Lady Trojans. Nice roll by Beckham. Starts off to the left, curves inside. She takes out 8 pins, leaving the number 7 and number 3 pins still remaining. Not an easy shot. If I had to assume her approach is that she's going to have to try to come in from the right side, take out the 3 pin, and hope it travels back and knocks down the number 7 pin. Not an easy task to accomplish. Starts off from the left instead, decides just to take out that number 3 pin, give her 9 in the 3rd frame. Meanwhile, the left-handed Ashley Wade in lane number 13 for Bowie State. Give her a strike. That'll be back-to-back strikes for the Lady Bulldogs. So heading into the 4th frame, Bowie State has a spare and 2 strikes. Ariel Haith up to roll next for VSU. We're in the 4th frame. She knocks down 7 pins, leaving the number 4, 5, and 8 pins still standing. Diamond Carter, Rookie of the Year, rolls next for BSU. And she takes out 9 pins, leaving the number 3 pin still standing. Haith has that one shift too far right, and misses all the way together. So she's only going to get 7 pins in that 4th frame. And that is a disappointing roll. Coach Sims immediately deciding to talk to her. And here comes Diamond Carter looking to pick up the spare, only having 1 pin standing in the 13th lane. And easy work. She knew it right away that she was on target. Give her the spare. So Bowie State, once again, coming out very strong here in this 4th game. Danielle Petty takes out 8 pins. Keandra Bankston knocks down 9 pins on her first roll, only leaving the 10th pin, which would seem very doable for her to get the strike. To get the spare. And they've come out rolling. It's been spare, strike, spare. Petty coming back, only needing to take down the number 4 and 8 pins in order to get the spare. So they're right behind each other. And she collects. Good job by Danielle Petty. And Keandra Bankston delivers on her side, getting the spare as well. So nothing short of a spare for Bowie State. It's been spare, strike, strike, spare, spare, and in all 3 of those spares, 9 pins have been knocked down on the first roll. Rebecca Clemens coming back up to roll here in the 6th frame. Clemens takes down 6 pins on her first roll. Shannon Weaver lets it go. And she's going to get 9. Almost gets the strike. Almost does not count. Bowie State has been extremely consistent here in this 4th game. Both teams tied up 1 game apiece. I know you may be thinking what you said during the 4th game. The 3rd game, these 2 teams had a 176 tie, which is going to be a wash. So they're going to have to keep rolling. First of 4 wins and will advance in the winner's bracket. Meanwhile, the loser will drop down into the loser's bracket. Clemens comes up and knocks down 3 of the 4 pins she needed to get in order for her to have a spare. So she's going to get 9 in that 6th frame. Shannon Weaver stays on target and gets the spare. Heading into the 7th frame, Bowie State has had nothing short than a spare in addition to 2 strikes. So it's been 4 spares, 2 strikes for the Lady Bulldogs. Felicia Canteen, just released for VSU, takes out 6 pins. Only one still standing are the 4 in the center. Sierra Davis is the next bowler for the Lady Bulldogs. She's in lane number 13. This is her first roll, straight down the center. Call her lightning, she just strike. It's not strike, it would be struck, wouldn't it? The past tense of strike or struck. So
You got struck?
She just struck. She didn't strike.
That's right.
Okay. Trying to get my grammar together.
She got a strike.
Okay, there, yeah. That sounds so much better. Felicia Canteen comes up with 8 pins in the 7th frame. Left-handed Ashley Wade takes out 7 pins. And she's in the 8th frame, and these 2 teams are not really wasting any time. They're getting, as soon as one bowler goes up, the next one on the opposite end is ready to go. Charity Beckham knocks down 6 pins here in the 8th frame. Ashley Wade coming forth for her second roll. She took down 7. her first attempt. We're in the fourth game. These are the two top-tier teams. Neither has lost. And Wade delivers, give her a spare. So Bowie State continuing to keep the pressure on of delivering nothing shorter than a spare. It's been strike or spare every frame.
Bickham working on her approach. Not able to get all 4 pins on that. She will take 8 that time.
And with only 2 frames remaining, the 9th and 10th frame, it looks like Bowie State is going to pull out this 4th game. Right now they're up 157 to 95 over Virginia State. And I just think that's going to be a lead too insurmountable for them to climb back. Speaking of the Lady Trojans, I just don't think they're going to be able to climb back in this one.
Bowie State is they're both only at 9 and 10, and only at 9 with 2 frames left. Not enough for Virginia State. Well, as I say that, she pulls out a strike, of course, with that would be Ariel Haith of Virginia State.
Very clutch. CIAA Rookie of the Year, Diamond Carter, comes through and knocks down 7 pins, leaving the 7, 4, and 10 pin still standing. Danielle Petty up to roll for VSU. Straight down the center. Smooth roll, but without enough speed on the ball, she leaves 3 pins standing.
That 7 pin thought about falling over there for 1 second.
So it is Virginia State already in the 10th frame. Ariel Hay delivered a strike in the 9th frame, which kind of sped up the rotation. Meanwhile, Bowie State in the 9th frame. And I believe they're waiting for the ball to come back for Miss Diamond Carter. Petty not going to sit around and wait.
Mirror scenarios.
Decides to take out the 2 in the corner and not worry about the 7th pin in the left corner. So that's going to give Virginia State 123 here in this 4th game, which will not be enough. Bowie State already has 173 with 1 more frame to roll. Bankston delivers in the 10th and delivers a strike. So now they're just piling on. Boosted them up to 183. Another strong game for the Lady Bulldogs. They came out and rolled 193 in the first game in this matchup against Virginia State. And it looks like they're going to have an even higher score here in the 4th. Bankston with another roll. Coach Sims has huddled up the Lady Trojans. Bankston delivers another strike, which will give her a 3rd. So that moves their total up to 193. So they're going to get over 200 for this game. That is just too strong. When you're rolling over 200 in a game, Bria, you're going to almost be unstoppable.
But we've seen Virginia State do it. It can be done.
Absolutely.
They are getting a little quiet over here on us, strategizing for their next game.
And that gives them 200 exactly. Bowie State wins the 4th game 200 to 123, moving them ahead 2 games to 1. We're headed to the 5th game. They've played 4 already. It was a tie at 176 in the 3rd. Bowie State ahead 2 games to 1.
Don't forget to follow the CIAA on our other social media platforms. We appreciate you watching. However, you can follow along on Twitter at CIAA for Life, Instagram at CIAA Sports, and also like us on Facebook under the CIAA.
I've done all of it. I've already liked the page.
Thanks, Lamont.
I'm following. I keep up with you guys. And What you're hearing is the excitement from Bowie State as Shannon Weaver starts off with a strike for Bowie State. Over in the other lane, lane 13, since the two teams have switched sides, Rebecca Clemens had 9 on her first roll. She's staring at the 7th pin in order to get the spare. You would believe that's easy work, but there may not be a such thing as easy work when it comes to competition. Anything can happen. She's such a clutch bowler. I think she's going to be able to knock down this pin and get the spare.
And she does so.
Indeed, she does. Up next to roll for the Lady Bulldogs will be Sierra Davis. Davis steps up straight down the center. She takes out 8. Leaving 2 pins, the number 6 and number 10 pin still standing.
Davis taking a deep breath back here, ready for her second attempt. First, we will see
Miss Felicia Canteen up to roll for the Lady Trojans. We're in the second frame of this 5th game.
It looks like we are in the final matchup of this round. Looks like the other teams have already wrapped theirs up. Hopefully getting some scores on those competitions here for you in one moment.
Davis gets the spare, taking out the 6 and 10 pins. BSU off to another fast start. Striking a spare so far, heading into the 3rd frame. Let's see if Canteen can come back and deliver a back-to-back spare for the Lady Trojans. I noticed that she used a pink ball. She normally does not use that ball, and oddly enough, that one goes into the gutter. She seemed very disappointing in that role, did not want to interact with her teammates afterwards.
This looks like Ashley Wade leaving that number 5 pin standing. She will have a second attempt.
7 pins taken down by Charity Beckham of Virginia State. Left-handed Ashley Wade coming back to see if she can get that 5th pin, Bree.
I think she can.
We shall see.
And it's good.
I like how she stepped to the right, almost like telling the ball to follow.
Hey, do this.
Yeah, do what I want you to do. Well, it did. So perhaps that works. I need to try it next time I go bowling.
I'm going to need a little bit more help than that.
Charity Beckham takes down 1 pin, leaving 2 still standing. And we're going to try to get you some recaps on the other games, see what the results are. CIAA Bowler of the Year, Diamond Carter, takes down 8 pins. Ariel Haith up next to roll for Virginia State. Heads down the center. Takes out 8 pins. Looking at similar situations here in the 4th frame. 8 pins both knocked down on the first roll for Haith and Carter. Carter's got a split situation. Heads towards the right side, and she's just going to take out the 10 pin and leave the 8th one standing. So she's going to get 9 on that 4th frame.
1 is better than none.
1 is better than none, even though they say it's the loneliest number. Ariel Haith takes them both out. Give her a spare, much needed. Keandra Bankston comes up next for Bowie State. Keeps it straight
Looking
down
good.
the center.
And that's a strike.
And she collects. So far here in the 5th frame, Bowie State has 2 strikes, 2 spares, and they had 9 pins in the 4th. Danielle Petty up to roll next for Virginia State. She's in the 5th frame. A little pressure was put on her after the strike was delivered by Bankston.
And here's the release.
And she gets 9. I really do believe if she could just put a little bit more speed on the ball, she would have more success and get more strikes. Shannon Weaver
Following suit, leaving 1 pin standing.
So you're looking at mirror scenarios. Petty needing to take out the pin in the right corner. Meanwhile, Weaver needs to take out the pin in the left corner. Bowie State ahead right now, 94-64. Bowie 1 frame ahead. And Petty delivers in the right corner pocket to get the spare. Definitely going to help out with their total, much needed. And Weaver, let's see if she can do the same by getting the pin in the left corner. It shifts over. Oh, went too far left. And she's only going to get 9 for that frame. And if you're Virginia State, that is exactly what you need in order to get caught up.
Virginia State can capitalize on this, starting back up with CIAA Bowler of the Year, Rebecca Clements.
First roll for Clemens, straight down the center. Ooh, only 9. Leaving the 10th pin standing in the right corner. Sierra Davis will be up next to roll for Bowie State. Gears up. Steps up to the line. There's the release. Heading towards the center. And she hit every pin but the center pin. The 5 pin stood standing. Watching all the other pins around it fall. It would appear that that would be an easy pickup for the spare, but sometimes that can be one of the most difficult ones. Clements will be coming up to the line for Virginia State, only needing to knock down the 10th pin in the far right corner in order to get the spare. Clements lets it freely flow from her hands. That looked like easy work for Clements, CIAA Bowler of the Year. Had no hesitation on that release. She knew she could come up and deliver. Meanwhile, Sierra Davis trying to do the exact
Right down the
same
center.
thing. And she so confidently turns around before the ball even made contact with the pin, knowing that she had the release she wanted.
She's very graceful in all of her movements.
And I
A little
believe
slip there. We are bringing in Gabrielle Jarrell.
And then Coach Sims is doing a substitution in rotation, decides to bring in Gabrielle Jarrell. Ashley Wade was the next one to bowl for Bowie State. She knocks down eight pins, and we're in the 8th frame for Bowie State, 7th frame for Virginia State. Jarrell took down 9 pins.
Stepping up, and here's the release.
Got it. And she has checked in and immediately made an impact for the Lady Trojans. Gets the spare for in the 7th frame. Here comes Wade again. Got them both. The spare is good. And we just heard a reliability chant from Bowie State. Charity Beckham comes up next. Ooh. And Coach Sims,
Good pitch, girl.
She leaves a 7-9 split as she comes up for her second.
Sims expressed his displeasure for that. The way the pins fell, leaving 2 standing. Diamond Carter coming back up for Bowie State. Notice that she switched balls on that roll as well, so teams are trying to do a little bit things different here and there in order to try to get an advantage. Perhaps they're overthinking it.
We have a pretty close game here, 138 to 119. Bowie State continues to lead.
Charity Beckham up to roll for the Lady Trojans. She's also left-handed, and it goes far right. How ironic.
I think from what I could tell, looked like she was trying to go for both there, but that did not work in her favor.
Yeah, pretty sure that was the goal, to try to get them both. And Carter, also with the same objective of trying to hit both pins, does not succeed, only getting one. One is better than none. And it'll be Ariel Haith coming up next in the 9th frame for Virginia State. Keandra Bankston will conclude things here in the 10th frame for Bowie State. Haith lets it fly and knocks down 7. Bankston coming up next, her first roll here in the 10th frame. Straight down the center, looks good. Shifts a little bit.
Ooh. Some late pins fall there, leaving 1.
Haith finds her ball on the rack. 3 pins still left standing here in the 9th frame for Virginia State. Let's see if she can collect the spare. Bowie State with about a 22-pin lead here in the 5th game. And Haith takes down 2 of the 3 needed for the spare, giving her 9 pins here in the 7th frame. Excuse me, in the 9th frame. And Bankston needing to knock down the 10th pin in order to get the spare. And she does just that.
A very reliable anchor for the Bowie State Lady Bulldogs.
Bowie State looks strong all the way around. I can't pinpoint who I would say is the weak spot of the team.
Very true, very true.
And it is Miss Danielle Petty knocking down 9 pins in the 10th frame.
We do have some results from the other round 3 matches. Shawan defeated Elizabeth City State 4-1. Elizabeth City State has been eliminated and will go home.
Sorry about that, Lady Vikings.
Fortunately, Fayetteville, I'm happy to report for you, Lamont.
No favoritism here.
Has defeated St. Aug 4-1 as well. That is St. Aug's second loss.
Okay.
They will go home as well.
See you later, Falcons. Safe fly home. So that's going to leave Fayetteville State taking on the Hawks of Shawan in the next matchup. They're going to be on lanes 7 and 8. Danielle Petty collects the spare. Bowie State has already wrapped things up. They have a final score of 155, which will be enough for them to collect this victory here in the 5th game. Even if Petty comes back with a strike, the best they can do is get a 148 total, and Petty has not been known to deliver strikes. There's the release for Petty, straight down the center. Good targeting, takes out 8 pins, which will give them 146. A 9-pin victory for Bowie State. However, a 2-game lead. They're up 3 games to 1, heading into the 6th game. And the reason why I point out that it has been 6, they're heading into the 6th game with a 3-1 lead, because we had a 176 tie in the 3rd game. And instead of just omitting that information, spectators need to know that these teams have had a whole nother game that's more wear and tear on the arm, more mental fatigue as well. So right now, the defending CIAA champions and current Northern Division champions, Bowie State, enjoying a 3-1 lead over the tough Lady Trojans of Virginia State. And Clemens, Bowler of the Year, gets things started here in the 6th game, and she takes out 8 pins immediately. As mentioned earlier by my partner, Bree Funty, in the losers bracket, we've seen eliminations today, earlier by Johnson, C. Smith, and Shaw, and just recently in this last round, Elizabeth City State exited the tournament after a 4-1 loss to Shawan. Fayetteville State eliminated St. Augustine's 4-1. Those two teams will face each other next. And Bowie State and Virginia State still both unbeaten in the winners bracket. One of those two will drop down and face the winner of Shawan and Fayetteville State. Fayetteville State, very strong team. They entered this contest divisional champs for the 13th year in a row, led by head coach Bobby Henderson. He's been with the program since 2001. They have an uphill battle, however, to get back into championship contention. Sierra Davis
For the strike. Two strikes in a row for the Lady Bulldogs of Bowie State.
This is Gabrielle Jarrell, who just rolled for Virginia State. She gets 6 pins. Virginia State had 8 pins knocked down in the first frame. They get 6 here in the second with another roll for Jarrell. Meanwhile, Bowie State back-to-back strikes, and the left-handed Ashley Wade lets it fly. And she's going to face a 7-4-10 split. Jarrell has 4 pins to knock down in order to get the spare. Looks like it's on target. Give it a spare. Not the real tire. Give it a spare. The little donut. And now you have everyone here in AMF Western Branch Lanes watching these two top-tier teams go at it head-to-head. The other matches have already concluded, so now it's all eyes on this match. And Charity Beckham delivers. Give her a strike.
Bickham, also an all-conference bowler of 2016.
Both teams had multiple selections to the all-CIAA team. As Bree just mentioned, Charity Beckham was one of those all-CIAA selections for Virginia State, in addition to the CIAA Bowler of the Year, Rebecca Clemens, over for Bowie State. They had 3 selections for the all-CIAA team, including CIAA Rookie of the Year, Diamond Carter, Keandra Bankston, and Sierra Davis. Right now we're watching Ariel Haith for VSU step up to the line. Nice smooth roll, stays down the center, and that will be back-to-back consecutive strikes for the Lady Trojans. That is something that will be helpful in terms of building momentum as well as adding points to their total.
Diamond Carter up to the line for Bowie State, her second. She clips the final pin.
Tomahawk chop that one down. She gets the spare. We're in the 5th frame, both teams. Both teams have 2 strikes apiece here in this game. First 2 strikes came for Bowie State in the 1st and 2nd frame, and 2 strikes for Virginia State happened in the 3rd and 4th frame. This is Danielle Petty up to roll. And how about that? Danielle Petty just looked over at me and pointed and said, "Who can't get no strike?"
She proved you wrong.
She did. I don't want to prognosticate what she can't do anymore. But I did notice there was a little bit more speed on that
There
ball.
was a little bit more.
Okay, okay.
I noticed that as well.
All right, so I'm not pulling things out of thin air. Virginia State looking very strong here in this sixth game. Starting from the second frame, they have a spare and 3 consecutive strikes. Let's see if they can keep that going. And who better to step up to the line than CIAA Bowler of the Year, Rebecca Clemens. Can it be 4 strikes in a row? Looks good. It's on target. Knocks down 9. Could not get the 10th one. That stubborn 6 pin stood standing.
Looks like Keandra Bankston for Bowie State. Her second, going for the 10 pin in the right corner, and she clips it for the spare.
Gets it to go. Virginia State with a 115-83 advantage here in this sixth game.
Looks like Clements is preparing a different bowling ball.
Clemens staring at the 9th pin, which is slightly right center. There's her release. It's on target. There it is. Give her a spare. So Virginia State looks like they're coming out on fire with the exception of the first frame. It's been spare, strike, 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 spare. Shannon Weaver just lets it fly for Bowie State. She takes down 8 pins, leaving the 4 and 8 pins still standing.
Jarrell steps up for Virginia State, who is currently leading 117 to 100. And the release slipped a little too far to the left.
Yeah. Yeah, you could tell immediately she wasn't pleased with that one. Only taking out 3 pins.
3 pins, I believe.
And in lane number 13, that is Shannon Weaver. Oh, only getting 1 pin. Give her 9 for that frame. And Bowie State not as on fire as they've been in the other games. This could be one for Virginia State. They've stepped up to the plate. And Jarrell really steps up to the plate with the spare. And she has a look of focus and determination after that roll.
Bowie's pit looking a little bit different. More girls sitting down now, maybe getting a little bit more fatigued.
They do not have the energy that they've had throughout these other games, which makes me think back to hearing the philosophy of coaches saying, we don't do all that cheering because it drains you. Guess you got to start listening to people who've been there a little longer than you. Charity Beckham. It's the strike. And as I say that, you can feel and hear the energy and excitement over here for Virginia State, who's starting to pick it up. And then, with the exception of the first frame, it's been nothing but strikes and spares for the Lady Trojans. And they have a sizable advantage here in this sixth game. Right now it's 150 to 108. Bowie State in the second roll of the 7th frame. Sierra Davis takes out 3 out of 4 pins, give her 9 for that frame, moving their total up to 110 with 3 more frames to go here in the sixth game. And stepping up to the line for Bowie State will be the left-handed Ashley Wade. Wade knocks down 8 pins, 2 still stand. Ariel Haith wasting no time.
With the strike.
I almost didn't need to say anything. You could hear the reaction and tell what happened.
That is Virginia State's 5th strike this game.
And they have come out rolling, 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 rolling.
Let's go, Trojans.
And Ashley Wade picks up the spare. Here comes Danielle Petty. Can she do it twice? Can she get another strike?
This is the 10th frame for the Virginia State Trojans.
And that looked like one of her usual rolls. Very precise, on target, just not with as much speed, and she takes out 9 pins. Meanwhile, Rookie of the Year, Diamond Carter in lane 13 takes out 8 pins. Petty coming back up to the line for her second roll. That phrase kind of reminded me of Al Roseborough, the announcer for the CIAA and also Shaw University, when he talks about free throws. We'll be on the line for 2.
That is a very accurate portrayal.
Thank you. Don't tell him I did it.
Okay, I won't tell him. Hey, he could be watching, though. You don't know that.
Okay.
Petty was not able to get the spare on that last for Virginia State.
They've been so hot here in this 6th game, I don't believe they're going to need it. Diamond Carter does pick up the spare.
Virginia State is now sitting tight, waiting for Bowie State to finish up their frames. They sit at 197, while Bowie State is at 138 with 9 more after Keandra Bankston's first roll.
And they can add some more pins to their total, but they will not have enough in order to win this game. So Virginia State will stay alive and will not drop down into the losers bracket as of yet. That's going to give them their second victory here in this series, which will move it to 3-2-1. Bankston comes back with the spare. And as I look down the lanes, I see that the match between Shawan and Fayetteville State has started. Bankston with another roll here in the 10th frame to close out the 6th game.
The release, and she gets 9.
So the total here in the 6th game will be Virginia State 197, Bowie State 166. And the 2 teams will switch sides, and we'll get started with a 7th game. Uphill battle for Virginia State. They need 2 more in order to get the victory. Meanwhile, Bowie State needs just 1 more game in order to close this out and stay in the winner's bracket. They will await the results of first Shawan and Fayetteville State, and then the winner of Shawan and Fayetteville State will take on the non-winner of this matchup between Virginia State and Bowie State. And Rebecca Clemens wastes no time getting it going.
And she starts the Lady Trojans off with a strike. Excitement coming from both the team and the fans. Parents, friends, family.
Dr. Green.
Dr. Green, of
Absolutely.
course. Wonder if she brought her pom-pom in today.
Don't you see it?
I don't see it.
She has it.
She's usually standing up.
Someone's talking to her right now,
Okay.
so she's being engaging.
All right.
Dr. Peggy Green, a longtime administrator and professor at Fayetteville State University, a committee member for the CIAA. She's done a great job at helping out where needed. She provides so much advice and tutelage. She's been a cornerstone at Fayetteville State. We're lucky to have her. Meanwhile, Shannon Weaver comes back and collects the spare for Bowie State.
Jureel stepping up for Virginia State, attempting to do the same.
This is the 7th game of this series between Bowie State and Virginia State, 2 juggernauts out of the CIAA Northern Division. Both teams came in ranked 1 and 2 today based on wins and total pins. Gabrielle Jureel looking very confident after she gets the spare. So far, Virginia State has started out in 2 frames with a strike and a spare. Sierra Davis up to roll next for the Lady Bulldogs.
Looks good. A little frustrated with that.
I love her energy. She's quite animated.
She's very animated.
Something you don't see too much out of bowlers. They try to keep a calm, steady hand.
Bickham on her first attempt, leaving 4. She'll take 6.
If I'm not mistaken, Sierra Davis was the CIAA Rookie of the Year last year for Bowie State. So she comes back with tons of experience, another year under her belt, and she's been delivering. But this is going to be a tough task for her to try to get this split. It's the 7 and the 9 pin. Let's see her approach.
Starting her approach further to the right, I see.
Ooh. Looked like she tried to take the approach of taking out the pin in the left corner. Stayed too far left, goes into the gutter. One of her teammates, Ashley Wade, tells her to, just relax. We're still in this one. Meanwhile, the pressure might be getting put on by Virginia State. They have a strike and a spare, 6 pins knocked down. Beckham comes back and takes out 3 of the 4 pins here in the 3rd frame. The left-handed Ashley Wade steps up to the line. Nice release.
She will collect 8 on her first.
Ariel Hayes up next to roll for Virginia State. Very intense matchup. It seems like the crowd is even a little drained.
Hayes clips 8 as well.
I hope we get an opportunity to get a shot of the crowd sitting behind us. I mean, everyone is on their feet watching this matchup.
Some great support out here at AMF Western Branch Lanes in Chesapeake, Virginia.
It's kind of like being at a concert when somebody in your section decides to stand up and watch the rest
Everyone's
of the concert.
got to get up.
You got to stand up and watch it now.
You got to get up. Why aren't we standing up?
Because we got a great view without having to stand up.
That's true.
Diamond Carter up next to bowl for Bowie State.
Using that green bowling ball, a very lime green.
I'm sure it's effective whenever they turn off the lights and start to have their nighttime bowling here at AMF Western Branch Lanes in Chesapeake, Virginia. As we mentioned earlier, a great spot for entertainment. If you're in the area and just want to have something to do, this will be a great place to come check out. But with the lights on, she could have used any ball to knock down just 6 pins. I mean, that was Danielle Petty over on lane 13. She also takes out 6 pins. And right now, these two teams are kind of neck and neck. Heading in. Go ahead.
No, Virginia State only leading by 11.
And with Bowie here in the 4th frame, they pick up the spare. Meanwhile, Danielle Petty is the 5th bowler for Virginia State, so they're in the 5th frame here in this Baker-style format. Give her the spare. And here comes Keandra Bankston, wasting no time, locked and loaded. Lets it fly, stays center, only takes out 9. And what I've noticed so far, Bree, we have yet to see a strike here in this 7th game. Oh, excuse me, there was one strike.
One strike to begin. I believe that was Rebecca Clements starting off for Virginia State.
She snuck that one in on me. And speaking of the CIAA Bowler of the Year, Rebecca Clemens, here she comes up to roll again in the 6th frame for Virginia State. Takes her time. There's the release. Little too strong, didn't have enough to take out the pins on the right side of the lane. She's staring at a 3-6-10 scenario.
Bankston taking out that number 9 pin for her spare.
So we're looking at a 77-71 lead in favor of Virginia State. However, you have to take into account that a spare was just picked up by Bowie State. Clemens staring down the lane. Let's see if she can keep it to the right in order to get the spare. It's headed to the right, right on target. She said, I've been the best this year for a reason. Here comes Shannon Weaver for Bowie State. Weaver, a redshirt freshman out of Fort Washington, Maryland. She's already declared as a psychology major. So she understands the importance of mental well-being. Gabrielle Jarrell, very poised, very focused before her roll.
Despite the bounce on her release, she gets a strike.
See the strike, be the strike. And then she struck. Or no?
Yeah,
We talked
I think
about
that
that.
works.
Struck?
I think it works.
I think so.
Maybe you just said it with confidence, so it sounded right.
As we were speaking about this earlier, if you say it with confidence, nobody knows you're wrong.
Nobody knows.
Released by Weaver. Looked like she didn't let it go the way she wanted to. Only takes out 1 pin, or maybe 2 pins, leaving 2 standing. Give her 8 in the 6th frame. Right now, Bowie State with 85. Virginia State up with 100 after that strike that has yet to be totaled in as well. And then there's Charity Beckham up to bowl.
She just got a few words from Coach Sims. And she will take 8.
Last year's CIAA Rookie of the Year, Sierra Davis, now up to roll. A sophomore gets it to go down center, and she takes out at least 8. Looked like she was going to have a 7-9, a 7-6-10 scenario, and then the 7th pin fell, leaving only the 9 and 10 pins.
Charity Bickham on her 2nd. The release.
Got
and
it.
she's good for the spare.
Left corner pocket, knocks them both down. Here comes Davis again with a mirror scenario. She's going to need to knock down those same 2 pins in the opposite corner. Count it.
She knew it.
I really can appreciate the energy and enthusiasm that this Bowie State roster has.
There is such a swing in the energy in these matches.
They do not mind playing off of their emotions. Meanwhile, Ariel Haith up to roll in lane number 13 for Virginia State.
This will be frame 9 for Virginia State.
Knocks down 9 pins. Virginia State has been very consistent since about the 5th frame. It's been spare, spare, strike, spare, and now Haith knocks down 9 pins with 1 remaining and has a strong chance of getting a spare herself. Meanwhile, the left-handed Ashley Wade knocking down 7 pins. And we're gearing down to about the 10th. We're getting close to the 10th frame. Bowie State in their 8th frame. Meanwhile, Virginia State in the second roll of the 9th frame with a 138-109 lead. They trail in this series 3 games to 2.
Faith takes the spare.
Pick it up.
Are you starting to learn their chants?
It's infectious. It's creeped into my mind. Count it. Ashley Wade gets the spare. And that will close the gap a little bit for the Lady Bulldogs, who trail so far in this 7th game. So apparently we're underway in the matchup with Shawan and Fayetteville State. Just heard a Bronco Pride cheer from further down the lanes. Meanwhile, Rookie of the Year
With a strike.
Diamond Carter delivers with the strike. And just like that, they've closed the gap. 139-132 in favor of Virginia State. Just a 7-pin lead in the 10th frame. Here comes Danielle Petty for the Lady Trojans.
The
Coming
slow
through.
roll bringing her.
Coming through with her precise, smooth roll. Meanwhile, Kiana Bankston giving some power.
She knew that immediately.
And I just so happened to look back at the crowd, and I saw one of the Virginia State parents lock eyes with me and give me that shake in my head. Bowie State says we're not champions for no reason.
Virginia State only leading by 1 pin, 153-152.
Danielle Petty facing a tough scenario in order to pick up the spare. And Bankston waiting patiently, stalking almost her opponent. And Petty, she choked. It goes
Bankston
into
will
the
not
gutter.
wait.
Here she comes. Got it.
She's hot.
Another strike. And guess what? That's going to do it. Bowie State is going to advance and win this series 4 games to 2. They right now have 172. And Bankston has got another roll. This
Can
is just,
she do it?
This
3
is
times
just,
in a row.
This is just icing on the cake.
And she does.
3 times in a row. 3 times in a row.
You took the lyrics right out of my mouth.
There you go. And congratulations to Bowie State, who remains unbeaten and will remain in the winner's bracket. Meanwhile, Virginia State will drop down into the loser's bracket, and they will face the winner of Shawan and Fayetteville State. That was quite an exciting matchup.
You know, at the beginning of that last game, I thought that Virginia State, really, their momentum was going to take them all the way. And Keandra Bankston right at the end.
I think
for
it
Bowie
goes
State.
back to what we were saying about that tie. Whenever you have a tie, you got to take that into account about the fatigue of the 2 teams, and just having that extra toll on you, it kind of weighed on them. I see Coach Sims now talking to his team, perhaps wanting to keep their spirit up. They're going to have to, keep their energy going into this next matchup. They definitely still have another shot to win the title, but more than likely, it's going to go through Bowie State. They have yet to lose. It's a double elimination. So even whoever wins between Shawan, Fayetteville State, and Virginia State, they're going to have to beat this Bowie State team twice. And just from being here and observing, I'm not sure that's going to happen.
I'm not sure it can be done. We could see this exact same scenario come around again today at the end of the day.
Absolutely. Bowie State looked very strong. Didn't seem to show too much fatigue. It goes back to what we were saying about their squad. When you got 3 all CIAA selections and a team of 5, and you can't really find the weak spot, your chances of pulling out a victory are pretty strong.
I think so as well. We're going to see a shift here on the lanes of AMF Western Branch lanes.
So right now, the only competition taking place is that of Fayetteville State and Shawan.
You can see Coach Sims here on your screen, thinking about what had just happened, strategizing for the next round.
And Coach Sims probably in reflection over that last matchup. Meanwhile, give us a little time. We're going to cut to a commercial break before we get back to the next action. And we will definitely give you an update on the results of Shawan and Fayetteville State. But you just witnessed a fantastic matchup between two Northern Division Titans in that of Bowie State and Virginia State.
It's on us, all of us, to make sexual assault unacceptable.
We are NCAA Division II student athletes, faculty members, and athletics administrators made up of 24 conferences and 300 institutions.
Over 110,000 Division II student athletes.
Together we stand and take the pledge to be more than a bystander, to get a friend home safe.
It's our responsibility to step in, stand up, to do something, to say anything, to hold our friends accountable, to stop sexual assault in any way we can.
It's on me, it's on you, it's on us.
So let's be a part of the solution, not a part of the problem.
Anyone can be the victim. Everyone can be the solution. It's on us to stand up and not stand by.
Because when you're a victim of sexual assault, no one should stand alone.
Here are a few tips that can help. Talk to your friends honestly and openly about sexual assault.
Don't be a bystander. If you see something, intervene in any way you can.
Be direct. Ask someone who looks like they may need help if they're okay.
Take the pledge at itsonus.org and be a part of the solution.
We took the pledge and decided to stand up against sexual assault. Now it's your turn to do the same.
We are challenging every Division II campus to take the pledge, to make a statement, and to make sexual assault unacceptable, because
it's on us!
The CIAA was founded in 1912 and has been a continuous champion for academic and athletic excellence for over a century. A crown jewel rooted in tradition, leadership, and community, the CIAA continues to educate and empower the future leaders of tomorrow through our commitment to academics, our support of the community, our enhancement of the student-athlete experience, and the engagement of our alumni and fans. A legacy that began over 100 years ago continues to impact the generations of today. We're all CIAA for life.
From court to court and lane to lane, under the lights or under the sun, no one delivers Division II sports like NCAA.com. The center of D2 is inside the NCAA.com hub with exclusive highlights of every sport and live broadcasts of every Division II championship. Found nowhere else. Make NCAA.com yours, the home of Division II college sports.
My name is Ayana Tweedy. I am a track and field student athlete at Bowie State University in Bowie, Maryland. I'm a shot put and discus thrower, and I throw the javelin as well. When I hit middle school, I started to like track and field. I was a strong female athlete, so I wanted to improve my strength. So once I got into high school, I continued my dream into becoming a thrower, and that's how I found my way into Bowie State University. I'm an early childhood special education major, and ever since my sophomore year, I've been student teaching. When it comes to special education, a lot of children do not get the extra love that they need for their special need. And when you get in their concept, it's not their fault, what can you do to help them? To me, it's the soft touch inside. I'm tearing up now because it's just so as precious to me. And I love children, and I want to make a positive impact on them. Leadership to me is what you basically put into it. What you do in your life shows your leadership. A true leader itself follows their own standards. At the end of the day, once you do that, everybody else will follow suit, and they can actually truly say that you are the leader that they're looking for. This is my life and my experience in Division II.